Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I am back with some gameplay footage of me playing Doom 64, running on the Xbox Series X. This was added to GamePass recently when Microsoft completed the purchase of Bethesda, and so this showed up in there, and I was like, man, I gotta check this out, running in 4K, and it's a game that, if I'm honest, I haven't played a ton of. This originally came out on the N64, and then now it's been ported over to pretty much every modern console and system, but I'm not familiar with it that much because, to be honest, I played a ton of Doom 1 and 2, and then I got the N64 late, much later, and so I'm just not familiar with the level design and this game, and it kind of shows as I'm playing it here. But first impressions are very good. I can see why this game is much loved by fans because it just has a slightly different graphical vibe to it and style. I can't really put my finger on it other than it just feels more, slightly more 3D. Plus you can tell that the sprites are re-rendered and a little bit higher resolution, or probably a lot higher resolution than the original. But you can see me getting turned around here quite a bit because I'm like, where the heck am I actually supposed to be going? I know the first two games so well. I think like a lot of gamers, you've played Doom 1 and 2 so much, it's almost like going back and playing, one of your favorite games and kind of like just an old friend. And so it was really cool to play this with fresh eyes. I mean, it was just really interesting to see a little bit of the changes that were made into this, and they are, they're not as subtle as you might think. It seems like especially the lighting and stuff like that was a bit of a surprise for me, and also again how the sprites look. They look pretty good, And I guess that comes down to the fact that this actually isn't an idsoft game. It was programmed by Midway, which really surprised me when I saw that. It's just the reason why it looks and plays a little bit different. And also too, because it was designed for the N64, which, at the time was, more powerful, more advanced than something that you might see on a PC when this game first came out, for sure. I think I originally played Doom probably on a 386 25, maybe a 33 or something like that. I'm trying to remember. For me, these early first-person shooters get a little bit mixed up because so much was changing so quickly, and my PC at the time was a piece of crap. I think I had a 286, but my buddy had a 386, and so I would always go over to his house to play these sort of leading edge technology games like this. And man, I'll tell you what, Doom 1 and 2, blew people away when it first came out. Now, I guess this is technically the sequel to Doom 2, which again is pretty interesting that it let, or licensed Midway to make the official sequel to Doom 2. That's a pretty big badge of honor these days. Although I'm kind of confused now because I know that John Romero, he recently released what he calls the official sequel to Doom 2 called Doom Sigil, which came out on PC recently, and then Limited Run did a physical version of it. So I'm not sure entirely how all that fits together in the Doom, lineage and the history of it, and kind of what people think is probably canon. Maybe it doesn't matter, because there obviously was a Doom 3. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting little fact about this. And then the final thing I want to mention about this that I think is kind of interesting, and it's possibly interesting to fans of retro video games, is that this port was done by my friends at NightDive Studios. And they're one of these developers that has put out recently in the last several years a bunch of remastered versions of these games for modern consoles. I love the fact that they are dedicating so much time, money, and energy to bringing some of these games back and making sure that they live on, reach a new audience, and you can play them like here on, a brand new Xbox Series X in 4K. So I love what they're doing. They also did the Turok games and a bunch of other ones, and they're also working on the official System Shock reboot, which looks really nice. So there's obviously a lot of talent there. And again, I just want to do a huge shout out to those people because they are keeping a lot of these games alive, and that's awesome to see. And so I'm going to shut up now and let you guys watch some of this footage. Although, you know, it's interesting playing this because, again, I'm not familiar with it, and there are some changes to the way that the game plays a little bit that I wasn't expecting. So at the end of this video, when I finally die, you'll see that once I just get turned around, I'm like, where is this going? It's so interesting how it feels just slightly different than the main game. And then also, I kind of get trapped in a pretty clever puzzle that I wasn't quite sure how to get out of. So I'm going to be going back and replaying this very soon because, like I said, I was enjoying my time with it. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts and opinions of Doom 64 are as well. Are you enjoying it for the first time, or have you been playing it for years? I'd love to hear that down in the comments, guys. So, all right, let's check me out playing this game. Oh yeah, this is where I start getting stuck because of the lighting. I was like, what? They didn't have this in the original. This is so cool.